What is going on, everybody? This is Bronco Jello.
And Bill.
And today we are coming to you with another Universal horror movie. We are doing 1931's James Whale's film, Frankenstein. Came out in the same year as Dracula, based off of the success of Dracula. Carl Laemmle, he knew what he was doing. He saw that he had hit on his hands, and he said, let's do this. Let's get another movie out there as quick as we can. Make some money.
And another horror icon is born.
Mm-hmm. With a legacy that spawns decades and 7 sequels.
Yep.
This movie has the most sequels of any of the Universal horror films, I believe. Maybe the exception of The Invisible Man. I can't remember which one has more.
I don't know either.
I think it's Frankenstein, but I'm not 100% on that.
But Frankenstein and Dracula do have a movie together.
Yeah, they have a couple crossovers together.
Yeah.
This movie, believe it or not, at the time was actually banned in a few places.
Really?
It was banned for its brutality, and then of the killing of the little girl in Ireland, and then it was banned for blasphemy.
Good old blasphemy.
Because there's a line where Henry Frankenstein, Dr. Frankenstein says, now I know what it's like to be God.
Yeah.
And in the old days, that was straight up blasphemous.
Oh, yeah.
So you can't be God. You can't know what it's like to be God. You can't say things like that. You know, it ain't like today where you say whatever you want and nobody gives a shit.
Pretty much.
We all know the story of Frankenstein. A scientist gone mad attempts to create life out of dead tissue, out of dead bodies. He violates graves. He gets a bunch of dead people. He cuts them up. He puts them back together in a different way. You know, we all know the story.
Everybody knows the story.
It's a classic story.
The monster of Frankenstein.
Exactly. Starring Boris Karloff as Frankenstein's monster, starring Colin Clive as Dr. Frankenstein, and starring Dwight Frye as Fritz, who is basically the Igor character. Igor didn't come in until the third film.
Yeah.
But Dwight Frye established the pattern of having a hunchback assistant.
Yes.
And
the evil assistant.
It really does work. Once again, he gives a masterful performance.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he's awesome in this movie, just like he is in the last one. Oh, pros and cons time. Did you have any cons for the film? Because I don't. This is my favorite Universal horror.
Again, the only con I have for this film is just like with Dracula, I didn't think they utilized music enough in this film. There wasn't enough music.
That's actually something that they did consciously. Aside from the opening and ending credits, the only music in the film is from the band that's playing at the party.
Yeah.
And they did that on purpose because they said they wanted to set the mood of the film without the music, with what was going on and with the sound effects. Because that was something that was becoming real big at the time, with sound effects.
Yeah.
So.
But still, I kind of like my films with a little more music to set the moods as well.
Usually, yes, I would agree, but in this case, the gothic atmosphere of this film just oozes.
Oh, it does.
And it's all over the place, and I love it. Anything else you
No, that was it. That was it. I was
I have absolutely no cons. Like I said, this is my favorite of the Universal horror. I love the atmosphere of this movie.
The atmosphere is amazing. The set designs, God, where was I going? Set designs.
The cinematography is really good. The lighting is really good.
The lighting, the cinematography, all are superb in this film.
And not just the set designs, but the actual, you know, there's that ending scene where we have all the people burning the windmill.
Yes.
And they pull back from that, and the windmill's up on the hill, and you see the people there, which could have been done with a camera trick. I'm not sure at the time.
Oh no.
And it could have been a model for all I know, or it could have been a full set. I didn't actually go that far into checking, but that just looked fucking amazing. The end of this movie is such a cool ending for me.
Yes.
I love the way it's done because it gives it a finality, even though they do bring him back later and different things, but. Still, this movie felt like it was done, like it was ended. Even more so than like Dracula. Dracula didn't feel ended to me. This one feels ended, and I like that.
Okay, then I'll just segue off this. This is a pro of mine for this film as well, is the ending of this film. I love the lynch mob. I love the whole burning the windmill to the ground and him up there just terrified.
Right.
Frankenstein's monster is just terrified of fire. basic animal instinct to be afraid of fire. But it is such a well done scene. It is beautiful.
And actually, one of my favorite scenes in the entire movie is a few scenes right before that, where Henry and the monster are going at each other in the windmill. And there's this great shot. It's a great shot of Colin Clive, Henry Frankenstein, as the wheel, you know, that wooden wheel, that turns the windmill outside, is going by. They shoot right through it onto his face, and his face just has this expression, and that brings that it's so beautifully done. It's a great scene, and that brings me into my next pro, which is I love the acting in this movie.
This is a pro of mine too.
Once again, I have to say that these guys knew how to act.
Yeah,
they knew how to act. I don't think a lot of actors these days could have hung with these dudes. I really don't.
And I didn't think there was a poor acting job in this entire film.
No, Dwight Fry is amazing. Colin Clive is amazing. Boris Karloff is amazing. All the other people do a really good job in the movie.
Even the extras.
Yeah, even the extras do a great job. This movie is just phenomenal. It still holds up.
To the test of time.
Almost 100 years later, this movie still holds up.
This is an amazing film. I'm going to stick with more scenes of this film. The next pro I have for this film is the iconic scene of, and everybody knows, it's alive! Mm-hmm. It's alive! The reanimation of the dead body. Mm-hmm. That scene is just so iconic.
What I think is so funny is in this movie, like, they were all kind of like shocked, but they just kind of accepted it and went on after. They told him, oh, you should stop. Oh, you should stop. But nobody actually did anything. They just were like, okay, it's still there. You know, just keep it under lock and key. You know, it's cool.
Yeah.
You know, I thought that was fucking hilarious.
Either way, everybody knows that scene. It's an amazing piece of cinema history.
Really cool scene. Really cool sequence. You know, we touched on the third act, the chase scene, the windmill, all that. Yeah. I love the chase. But something I really wanted to talk about in this is the special makeup effects. The makeup of Frankenstein.
He looks so cool.
Mm-hmm. Created by the legendary Jack Pierce. Now, Jack Pierce is a legend in the makeup world. He's basically the Tom Savini of his era. But he was also notoriously hard to work with. He was not liked. People did not like him. But Boris Karloff liked him. And he turned in what would become an iconic look for Frankenstein throughout the age. It's still used today.
Exactly.
Have you seen Hotel Transylvania?
Yeah.
It's the exact same look. It's just cartoonish. In all of the different films, it's pretty much the same look. The one film where it's a little different is Young Frankenstein. And that's just the face is a little different because it's,
Yeah.
But it's still the classic look.
And maybe that cruddy Van Helsing movie, that really looked a little different.
There was a few of those, like the New Age ones, they try to do things differently. But we still get a lot of films that do the classic look, like the Monster Squad.
Oh, yeah, Monster Squad.
The Munsters. The Munsters.
Oh, yeah, the Munsters
and
show.
then the Addams Family. You know, there's that look has stood the test. You know, and personally, I think that great makeup effects started in classic Golden Age Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
And I still appreciate it when they're done today.
Hell yeah, practical effects is king.
If they would have done practical effect makeup on Jackie Earle Haley in the new Nightmare on Elm Street remake, instead of putting CGI on his face, it would have been a much better, easier movie to watch. So, guys, that's all the pros I have that I specifically wanted to talk about. How about you?
Okay, I've got one last thing I specifically want to talk about, and that is the intro to this film. It's got an intro to it that Alfred Hitchcock was the one who really made this type of intro famous. Mm-hmm. Just a guy, before the film coming on, giving you a little almost narration.
Telling you how scary it is. And, and they did that at the end of Dracula, and then they cut it out because they said that the outro was too scary. So,
okay.
But yeah, that was really cool. I like that too. They really, once again, just a reminder of classic Hollywood, and it's cool. I mean, that's been done. Everything, like the Treehouse of Horrors and The Simpsons copied that.
Yes, they did.
Marge would come out and give a disclaimer, you know?
Yep.
But guys, there's a lot more we could say about this movie that hasn't been said before,
No.
and it's very well deserving of its place in horror history. It has been preserved by the Library of Congress, so it will be around for generations to come.
Excellent.
Guys, we will see you next time with another review in the Universal Monster series, and Comic Caves, Castle of King Bill, random reviews, whatever.
Yeah.
We'll be back later. This is Bronco Juggalo saying check out the merch store and check out the Patreon. Peace.
And Bill saying good night.
Mr. Zipper Face, motherfucker. Outside your window, peeping, creeping through the doggy door. But your doggy can't alarm your severed head, don't bark no more. Kitchen floor is stained with crimson night, look, got an empty slot. And the biggest knife is missing.